record. It's part of the training.
You recorded?
Yeah, it's being recorded. Hello, Jamin.
Hi.
Oh, you got your haircut, Amir, huh?
No, I just
You got a
tied my hair back, yeah.
Oh, so you're all in COVID, huh?
Wow, no mask, huh?
In their own rooms, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How's where's Ejin and Yi Xian, Maravik, videos and audios? Hello, Ejin. Yi Xian, where's your audio? Oh, it's a VR mask. How interesting. Okay, we started recording because Bernie and I have been, we had our half an hour prep, and then we just said that we're just going to roll. I mean, the whole point about this program is to really for us to be accepting the reality that we're in, you know. It's the media world, it's information, misinformation, and even if we tell people don't record, they're going to record anyway. So we have to be like really comfortable with who we are, and then we have to, you know, be able to just, right, be ourselves. And hello, say hello.
Hi.
Okay, I'm hoping to buy some time for Saif to join us, but I think he's caught up somewhere in an emergency, elsewhere in another work stream. So it might just be me and Bernie today. I hope you all find it okay. I don't have the grandeur of the governance and the other pieces. Okay. And we hope the others are joining us. But as we've always said to everyone right from the start, that after whatever we had to say to prompt everybody into action or commitment, etc. We're not going to say ever again. This program is like this, okay? You come, we record, you benefit, you deep think, and it goes as far and as wide. We are here for all of you. So you drive this. So yeah, Bernie and I spoke to ourselves again. We're not even mentors, you know. This is the other news that we've decided. Yeah, there's no point, because let's say I have the mentor-mentee relationship. After that, you know, you kowtow, you bring me apple, you know, oh my gosh, you start calling me ma'am and all that. Oh, Bernie, we're all done with that, you know. So it's very important, because it's about power relations, right? So if we model a power relation with you guys, then you guys are going to model a power relation with everybody else. You know, so no, I don't know any of those things, but maybe Sai will watch this video and then he starts to correct me later. But that's also okay. But for today, this is where we are. I'm just still rambling away to let everybody start joining in. Justin, Mel Felix Alba, hello. Where's your voice? Let's test your audio.
Hello.
Hi.
Yi Xian, did we get your audio? Yeah, so when you jump in, turn on your video, have a nice hello to everybody, you know. We're humans, we've got lovely voices and faces and everything, you know. So I don't know what this shyness is about anymore. Of course, it's a month since I saw you, and a lot have happened since in a month in this world and everywhere, right? So, Justin, hello. Wow, I like that fade out background, man.
Hello.
How's your voice?
Is the mic okay?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, the radio broadcaster.
We got two now. So, we have some lovely news. We have Cohort 2 being onboarded. So Cohort 2, we have a group from Kimlia Girls, Kimlia Training Center from Kenya. Okay, just outside of Nairobi. And then there's another group from Children Garden Home from Nairobi, Kenya as well. So, and I was supposed to go and meet the Melbourne Specialist International School Group. Today is the 18th, yeah, this morning. But I have another work stream emergency, so I couldn't go. But these are the 3 groups that we hope to onboard in March for cohort 2. So it'll be fun. So once they on board, we'll do that 4 sessions with them, and once, hopefully by April, we can have some mixing already. Okay, so we're just gonna keep doing that. Of course, we have a broad framework like making the possible impossible, and Ejin, you had written in to Saif to ask about identity, right? So yeah, so I suppose today is meant to be identity. So I did okay, it's kind of down here, maybe here. I don't know if you know where to find this. It's on the playlist. So we had set up a playlist. Can you all see the screen?
Yep, we can.
Yeah. So you have to talk to me, yeah, because when I'm navigating the screen, I'm not looking at all of you. So you all just say yes or no, whatever, okay? So if you look at the Bilberries Blue YouTube, there is something called the Pedagogical Provocation Library. So the 4 Ws was what pretty much the first month was about. And then the second one, which is this, essentially has the seven checkpoints or milestones of this making the impossible possible journey. So this is kind of the formation piece that Bernie had crafted for all of us, or curated maybe, you know. So all these words don't really matter much, but there's 7 things you have to think about. Maybe people call it constellation, you know, it's all kind of all fancy, right? But essentially, things that you have to do, no matter what you call them. And these are wonderful guidelines of wisdom from Bernie, who has journeyed this very, very deeply. How many decades, Bernie, not to put you on the spot about?
Maybe 25 years.
Yeah, okay.
Dealing with the youth, all kinds of youth.
Yeah,
from cradle to university degree.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow. So maybe, would you like to take us through this or something? I don't know. Or how would you like to do it? So the first is identity. Is it too much? No, we're not turning this into a lecture, right? So this is identity. This is dignity. I'll just do a quick one. And then the third is recreate. 4th is live for others. 5 is creativity. 6 is entrepreneurial mindset. 7, journey the possibilities. Good, that's it. So all the guidelines and words description Bernie had sent to me, and I basically just put it on these slides. So this is something that you can look at and reflect and reflect and reflect, you know, and how it gets applied for yourself and how it turns out. I think we are here to listen, and then you can share, and then maybe iterate from that, and then maybe set like a kind of a goal framework of, okay, the next 7 months, each of this month, I am going to do one piece of it. Okay. Then after that, after every month you do, then after maybe the 8th month, you say, okay, maybe I put them all together. Okay. And see what happens. You know, then after that, you go like, it's too far already for me to tell you what's going to happen after that, right? So we, at least everyone is like synchronized on some kind of framework, and then cohort 2 will be like maybe 1 or 2 milestones behind you guys, right? And then maybe they will bring in some perspective that you haven't seen. So the exciting thing is about multiple perspectives, right? So that's why we're not telling you what the answer is. There's no answer actually. We just have this things to catalyze, right? And so from Washima, she calls this a pedagogical provocation. So at first I was very resistant to the word provocation, but Vashima has done pedagogy for many years as well, you know. So I'm going to stay respectful to that terminology and the pedagogy of that, of why the pedagogical lineage had come up with something like provocation. It's just something that, the world, it's you, and then you're in the world sends you something, then you're like, ee! So that's why it's a provocation, right? But it's pedagogical, you know. It's not like, it's pedagogical. Pedagogical means you, okay, let me see what's going on here, okay? And it's not just about a brain thing, a theory thing, right? It's about a full whole human thing, right? Emotions, behavioral, society, etc. And it's not limited to the discipline. So what's great about the opportunity of this program is we have taken the highest liberty to allow you all to have youth stewardship formation, because, you know, we designed this program. This program is under our own organization, so we stand by it. And we believe that's what it is. So it cuts across all discipline, right? So whether you say, I'm the future educator, I'm the future doctor, I'm the future psychologist, etc. Those are pathways where you can work with other people and other work streams or whatever. Those are important, right? Because that's where the marketplace is, that's where society is. And then you get trained into those different roles, and that's important. Like I train as an accountant, right? Then I have to go and be the finance, be part of the finance function in an organization, for example, as the early training days. So those training are still important, and you still have to do it. But this space is not a training program. We are not going to say, oh, you're the youth leader, stewardship. Okay, come on, you gotta say this, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta do that. This is not that. This is not even, I think I'm teaching you about thinking about thinking. I'm thinking, no. It's a very free space, okay? It's really about, nothing that anyone has seen before. It's really about you, like that, okay? So Ejin, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, we can approach the identity topic in any way we want.
Yes.
And this is just a guideline only, yeah. So, and Bernie's view and all that are also still a guideline only, okay. So that at least if everybody goes blah 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 blah, we circle back. So there's something that is grounding us, okay. You know, then you go to the next one. So if today is identity, then we can talk about that. And then if you've done some preparation work regarding this, you can also share it, you know, something like that. And then if this process doesn't work, then you're like, hang on, this process doesn't work. Let's try another process of even how we do each of these pieces. And then somebody else is going to say, no, this not, I think it's not working. Or I think the perspective of identities like that. You're allowed to turn this whole thing around, right? And then maybe by the end of 18 months, you're like, here, this is what it should be. The program that we framed at the start is like maybe not really working, guys. Okay. And that's what iteration and innovation does, right? You got to have the freedom and the courage. So I pass this piece to Bernie.
Yeah, so since we are in the chapter of identity, when you videoed yourself, you started with the most obvious thing, right? You say, who I am. Obviously, you have a name. Otherwise, even a dog has a name. No? We call a dog Jigs. No human being is without a name. That is the worst that can happen to you if you're nameless. That means you don't exist. Whether your name is A, B, C, D, E, or whether it is cute, or whether whatever. That is the very superficial way of identifying yourself. First, you start with the name. When you enter school, they say, what is your name? when you meet a child, the first thing that the adults will ask, what is his name or what is your name? And the child is very happy to answer because he has identity. Then you identify yourself as coming from this country or this country, my education, etc., etc. These are given. They are not yours to change. You can't change your parents, right? You can't change your country. That you can't change your way of being. You can't change that. What I mean is, if you're born an active child, you're born an active child. If you're born introvert, what I mean is you are not free-spirited. Nothing negative about being an introvert. It's just that you are more prone to introspection. You reflect more. It's not because anything negative. Maybe there are many people who pretend to be extroverts because they're very social, they have a lot of friends, but deep down inside, they're introverts because they reflect. So, but people, when parents say, oh, talk because there's a guest, why are you shy? And then as if there is something wrong with you because you're shy. But it's not anything, it's just that the way you are. So that's your identity, first of all. You recognize the way you are. And then you say, what else? Why is it important for me to know who I am? And that is where we're coming, because as Ping An said, there is no definition of this program. It's all conversation. We don't even say participation. Words are words, but you can participate because of your eyes. You can look me in the eyes and I see that you are really engaging, you're participating, you're resonating. So when we go to this first phase of identity, I think we have explored the very superficial level. Now in this participation or this conversation, the next level of, I would say, the next step in the journey is to self-explore. You know, you explore yourself. What is it that you want to find out about yourself? Then you will find your identity there. For example, in a child, you notice that a child cannot be controlled, right? The mommy would say, don't eat candy. He will eat candy. Don't open your mouth. He will open his mouth. Because we are conditioned. Then our identity is being threatened. But when you say, I explore myself, then you ask yourself much more than the superficial level of who I am. Really, what is it that I want to do with myself? What is it and why is it important for me? So what? I want to be, I want to have pleasure. So what? Why is it important for you? So that's where we come into the next level. You yourself will start to discover, this is me. This is me. And you never thought that this is you. That's the identity that you have. For example, you are a person who prefers to be in the company of other people. That is you. And then what is it that makes you seek the company of other people? Because you consider, I cannot give any definite answer, because if I'm giving an answer, that means I'm lecturing. I'm telling you my own perception, my own worldview. And that is not in this program. I can listen to somebody who is giving me a talk, but at the end, I will say, that is her own worldview. That is how she sees it. But it's not right or wrong. I'm in a neutral space. So, which means that I am entitled to make myself the way I want to make myself. Right? So now we can continue to explore that, which I call identity for us is self-exploration. For example, I give myself as an example because I'm a life coach. And then when at the end of the session, then the coachee will tell me, I am very happy. Did you learn anything? She said, no. Huh? After 2 hours, you didn't learn anything from me? yeah, I didn't. So, is it a waste of time? No. She said, I learned what it means to be humble. I said, why? Because you accepted my feedback. I learned how to be vulnerable. So I said, I didn't know that. I thought I was very achieved. I have so many years of experience. I was high flyer. I was this, I was that. So I realized at that moment that this person recognized my vulnerability. So I was very, very happy with the session, even if she told me she didn't learn anything. She said, "No, I didn't know what you were trying to help me, but I just saw that this lesson gave you a picture of vulnerability. You see, so that was my self-discovery. So for each one of you, there is no clear-cut answer. In one of the sessions that we had a preamble with the next cohort. It was very inspiring. It was very edifying because somebody said, so what project are we going to work on? She asked us, no, they were 7. What project are we going to work on? We said, that is a good question because you have to think of the project. We cannot tell you this is the project. We don't know what you're thinking. We don't know where you're coming from. So this is a very good question. I think you, and then she said, I think I will consider joining the program, but at the beginning I was doubtful whether I will profit from this program. But after this half an hour session, I think I'm convinced I want to continue with this program. But we didn't give her an answer she was expecting. And then the boss of the group, the first question she asked us, so what is the success story? She asked us, what is your success story? We said, we don't define success. We know what happened. It could be a failure for one. It could be a success for another. How can I say this is a success story? So there is no failure or success in this program. Everybody is self-learning. Okay. Because if she says, you don't have a success story to tell us, then it's not worthwhile to continue with this program. And then another one asked, she said, I like that. I think I will take home this sentence. I never thought about it. So we were curious. So what is it? She said, it is the first time in my life that I heard I am my own resource. Isn't it? Bashima told it for the first time. And I also was very impressed because she said, you are your own resource. So she said, I like this program because I never thought I am my own resource. Right? So it's like that. It's a self-discovery. It's your own identity. And we will discover, we will go deep, 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 first layer, second layer, third layer, until we find out that the way we have seen ourselves, we're happy with it. We're happy with it. We don't judge our past. In fact, I was talking to Ping An. What is it that makes people confused about their identity? Because it's the non-acceptance of who they are. It's the non-acceptance of where they come from. So, for example, again, in that preparation for this, the final, I think we will do it in March with this group. Because they come from a very different background, a different country. And then it's very good, maybe one day we can mix diversity, you know, the Singaporeans with the Africans. I think that will be much, much more enterprising. If we can do that, Ping An, it could be more rich, because then we will really see the way we evolve as human beings. Because the surprise of surprise when we ask them, okay, who are you? And then she said, I'm so-and-so, I graduated from this, and what are you doing right now? And then she said, and she's a lady, I'm a truck driver. Truck driver. And then we said, can you please repeat? She said, I'm a truck driver. You know, I drive a truck. And then what kind of truck? You know, the Caterpillar truck, the big truck, which is used for men to drive in a construction site. She said, that is me. I am a truck driver. And it is very enlightening and very enriching for me. It's very a learning experience that this person has accepted her identity and very proud to share it to the world that she is a truck driver. Nothing wrong with being a truck driver. And then another question was, she said, she said, but in Singapore, they have a history. And then Saif said, you have a history. Africa is the oldest civilization in the world, you know? And then she said, I never thought about that. Yeah, it's true. She said, we have the oldest civilization of the world. And again, that was a reaffirmation of their identity. Because if you think only on the surface, you will not be proud that you have this identity as a person. But when you start to go deeper and you accept what you have and you try to convert it for the better to enhance that identity, then that is where you are going. Because identity is not static. Identity is very much liberating. If you have liberated yourself from your conception of your identity, then this way of looking at things, then we go deeper into who I am, where I come from, my parentage, my country. All these are given. Nothing we can do about it. But the identity, which is self-discovery, is what we're going to explore. So it is a journey of, aside from possibilities, it's a journey of self-exploration and self-discovery. So that is why I said this is the basic need for everybody, for every person, to identify themselves and to be happy and accepting their own identity. So it look like I'm giving a lecture, but I'm just explaining to you when I wrote this piece, what is my identity. So it's more, not a lecture, no, it's a clarification. So we have clarity on what identity for us is all about. So we are here to share. Maybe there is something that you would like to share. It's entirely up to you. As Ping An said, it could be recorded or not recorded. It's really a very safe space. Yeah.
Again, it's very cheeky. She's already started assigning work.
What?
Ping An is a believer of work. Work, relevant work, daily work. It's learning. It's very interesting, you know, Bernie. I had a big insight because I was always working with Washima about learning. Forgotten what my insight is because my brain is still fuzzy today. But yeah, there was a moment after the work shadow experience with the Temasek Junior College students. Then I realized the best thing is just to jump in to do the work, because you have all these theories, right? And then you have all this space where you reflect, but when you do the work, it becomes tangible, it becomes real. You don't really miss. Then you listen to everybody else, but it's just start doing the work. And it's a new world, and there's a crisis. It's not only just a new world. There's an emergency. It's a human race emergency and crisis, you know. I'm still sitting down here pondering what is wrong with people where they can just sit down there and think that it's something, I don't know. You know, I'm actually fighting fire, you know, like now as I'm chatting with you, like serious, real COVID fire, which I cannot even disclose, right? Like serious ultimate serious okay. And I'm still smiling and And the CEO asked me, how come you have your lipstick on? He said, you want to see my stilettos? You know, so I had this series called Stilettos and Big Pencil, and he got really cross with me. It's like, why are you doing, what happened? You know, I'm like, we are in it already. You have to really be able to just embrace whatever's happening, get into the science, but stop the talk already. You got to get into it, right? Get into it. Whether it's your work, whether it's everything. And if you want to have the opportunity to learn from Bernie, be like Bernie, be an expert in formation for yourself or for others. Because if you can crack the youth, you can crack any age group, really. And then, or if you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not even about learning, right? But say livelihood.
Yeah. It's not really learning, but it's experiencing.
I don't even know what that means, Bernie. I just live it.
Yeah, because for
you have to live it
example,
from stage to stage in your life.
yeah, because for example, when I say I've been following the children of my friends, I see them when they were born, and I see them when they're 5 years old, and then I see them now that they're university. They look at me like, hey, you're learning from me. I was coaching this girl, and then she said, wow, because I said, I'm not here to coach you, I'm here to learn from me. How can that be? You know, we are 3 generations apart. How can you learn from me? That's my purpose. I said, my purpose in this conversation is not to tell you what to do, is to learn from you. And then I can tell you my very cute experience, because this boy, he said to me, it becomes a storytelling, but I don't mind to share because it's very insightful. He said to me, can you find me a job? I said, oh, I'm not I don't have the competence, and I don't profess to be a headhunter. So I don't think I could be of help to you. She said, but anyway, tell me about yourself. And then he said, I like people. I like to be like you, but I cannot find a job. I said, okay, what is it that you know? He said, I know how to beep bop. You know what that is? You know, when you sing with only your mouth, no instrument, beep bop, like this. And then he said, beep, 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 beep. And then I said, oh, that is itself a profession? I said, yeah. He said, I can find a job as this. And then I said, okay, let me try to understand. And then at the end of the session, and then he said, actually, he said, I really want to go back to school. Oh, I said, that's a different story. Before you told me you want to find a job. He was already self-discovering himself in the process. Because I said, what makes you feel that, why is it important for you? Because if I'm going to get married, I need a job, I need to support my family. Okay, that's a good excuse for you to find a job, right? So he was going deeper. And then at the end, I said, what's stopping you from finding a job? I don't have any university degree. What make you not fulfill the university degree? He couldn't answer, but at the end, he said, because I wasn't really doing it because I love it. My family supported me because they wanted me to be that. And we have heard from some of you, you want to be a band master, then you end up being a lawyer or something like that. And then in the end, the next session we went in, he said, I already know what I want. Okay. I said, what is it? And then he said, I want to be a psychologist. Ah, very good, very good. Why? Because that I am interested in people. And then what is the next best thing for you to do? And then I will enroll in a school where I can get psychology. And then 5 years later, that was in 2015, I learned from him that he graduated with a degree in psychology. From being, from having, I would say, where you want to go is, I want to be a bebop grandmaster. Now he is a psychologist. But without that exploration, he probably would not have arrived where he wanted to be. So he has talents, he has achievements in his own right, but he needed to find a way how to explore himself as a human being, not only because he needs to find a job. No, he needs to accept that this is where he wants to be. So that was my my joy in finding out that finally he went to that direction. But occasionally he will come back to me and say, um, I like this girl who is in the same class as me. Oops, I said, what are you going to do about it? He said, maybe I should not be in the same team. Oh, I said, so what if you're in the same team? I really challenged him. So what if you're in the same thing? Why is it important for you? Because if I continue in the same thing, I might get to like her. And then you know the consequence. I said, I don't know. But we stopped because I don't want to teach. I just want him to think for himself. And then the next session, what happened? I changed team. I didn't pursue the team because I know what's going to happen. It's very important for me to know what's going to happen. Do you know what's going to happen? Yeah, of course. He said, then I will be distracted again and I won't finish my degree. So, in other words, it was not me who was telling him what to do. It was across conversations. He just thought for himself and he committed himself, the word commitment. He commits himself to what he thought was best for him as a human being. So that's why I'm saying this is, for me, the first and most important phase of our life is to acknowledge our identity, not just what is our name, where we come from, what country, but as a human being, what is it, where you're going, where you want to be, why is it important for you? So what? Tingan is saying, we want to be entrepreneurs. So what? We want to be an architect. So what? What's next? You know, it's just asking yourself, so what? What is important for you at this moment? Yeah. So this is
wait to show you how to hit the marketplace. But Bernie is not letting me. So what first? Okay, I'll answer Bernie's question first. Okay.
Yeah. So
then
what?
only we can whack market. Okay, so I'm Ping has been on a mute. Phew. But she has a lot of work for a lot of people in all kinds.
So I'm asking Ping An, so what? If you're an entrepreneur, so what?
You get fully engaged because it's sustainable entrepreneurism, right? Yeah, it's fully engaged because I spent 30 years. This is my passion. Actually, since I was 10 years old, right? I didn't know how to articulate it until I discovered economics. And then it went to my, no, whatever, right? But then that's the tube. And then also somewhere along the way, met Bernie along the way back. He went that side, It's like a whole lot of us. And we're just excited. I'm excited because it's coherent. It's coherent. It's a bit coherent. It's congruent as well, and it's operationalizable, and I believe we can fix this world. I believe we can fix this world. That's what's driving me. Everybody asks me how what gets you out of bed. I'm like, it's COVID. Let's fix and restructure, you know, and reboot. And it's a positive thing. And we have access to so many people. The world is so porous, it's so accessible. I've even sat through some Amazon summits already and all that, and talk to people, and they're doing seminars like these 6 people in a room, you know, can get an account, anybody wants to work, and straight away you can produce stuff in wherever you are. It's called geolocation, drop shit into every country, maybe drop shit in your own country, you know, I can go on and on and on, right? But Bernie stops me, and she's right. What was it that you stopped me this morning, just now again? Because I was going to roll the program. This is not the program for that program, for where you go, and not yet anyway, until you have clarity. Okay? Because it's like equipping people with like all these gadgets and stuff, and then they have like no idea actually why they're doing it, and maybe end up doing something that you really don't want to do, and then you would have maybe misplaced your talents, and maybe it's not the talents actually. you actually betray yourself. Actually, if you are not true to who you are, at the end of the day, you betray yourself. We are very kind, we tell you this journey so that you don't get into that 20 years later, which is 2 decades, so that your self-discovery has been accelerated. And then you get boom right into it, and you become crystallized, right? And then you become who you really are, and you can hold that. And you become very beautiful, I can tell you that, because you have clarity, and you accept yourself, and you love yourself, and you love not in the hedonistic vain way, So that's really where it is. But I think we cannot even curate that journey. You'll be inauthentic. Yeah. And I'm not sure whether this kind of things really needs a couple of decades. Okay, and then you say, oh my gosh, I have betrayed myself, Maybe every single person in the whole human race gets to a point where like, oh my gosh, I have betrayed myself. And they're like, oh, I wasted 20 years. Maybe everybody gets to that point. When you're, so there's no, like, we have all this good intention, right? Okay, actually we don't. I think maybe it's just a human journey that you really have to just go through it and then get to that, but if at your stage, at where you are, you can go to that stage, maybe it gets into a different trajectory. I don't know. So I'm going to shut up. Okay, I cannot even say bad words.
Yeah, I think at this stage, we consider the youth as your youth in front of us as very privileged. Can you imagine if somebody told us in our generation, you discover yourself and do whatever you want. I will not control you. Can you imagine what will happen? Because the traditional approach before was tell us what to do. And we always do what we are told to do. But in this, even a 5-year-old, you cannot tell him what to do. Because I know there was a child who was pissed off with the dad, and then he said, Dad, I'm going to call 999. Why? This is child abuse. Because he was being scolded by his dad. So this is why at this stage of our journey, it's very good that you are in control of your lives. You really are privileged to do that. No? That you are in control of your lives. You are making your own choices, and you develop yourself according to your choices, for the better or for the worse. But this is identity. Isn't that wonderful? But if today my mom was saying, I'm fearful because my teenage children still haven't signed up to apply to a university. And I said, what is wrong? No, I am afraid for their future. I said, that is your perspective. But they don't seem to care about the future. They are in control of their lives. Now, today, this is the buzz. No? We are in control of our lives because teachers cannot tell us what to do. Parents cannot tell us what to do. And it worked maybe in the previous 3-4 generations. Today, we are in a very, very different set of circumstances. But my parents told me, your parents were in that circumstance, but your children are now in this circumstance. So that's why your self-discovery and your self-identity is really in your own hands. So anybody wants to explore as the way you understand self-identity at this moment?
Yeah,
it's a very safe space. Yeah.
Yeah, if you've done some preparation work or anything, just, Ejin, did you manage to get some work?
Yeah, I actually prepared some slides. If I can share it.
Yeah, please do.
It's disabled for...
Okay, let me just...
Does it show? Can you
Yes,
see my screen?
yes.
Okay. All right, I'll start from the beginning. Okay. All right. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Ejin. And when I actually sat down to think about this topic, I didn't really know how to approach it because identity being something that I frequently think of, to be honest, is different depending on the context, who is asking me and whatnot. So, but if I have to describe myself in one word, I'd say that I'm a curious person, a very curious person. And I like to ask the whys, I like to explore new things. And being curious by heart has been an asset to me as a young journalist. I have been part of a young journalist program for 5 years with the Star newspaper in Malaysia. My curiosity is satisfied because through like interview pieces, I get to ask people about their line of work, learn more about the other person. I also get exclusive access to behind the scenes that my peers don't normally get to see. And I am also a very emotionally sensitive person. I experience emotions more intensely than others. I cry, I laugh, I feel anger at more extreme ends of the spectrum. So bless all the people who had to deal with me, especially now that we're in an MCO. But most of the time, it can get exhausting, but it's not entirely a bad thing because being in touch with my emotions, I am able to channel them through my writings. I frequently reflect on the past, I feel the present, and I try to imagine the future. I've turned this into poems, reflections, and putting them up on my website. But in my schooling years, I've done quite well academically, and I was involved in a handful of co-curricular activities. But despite the admiring gazes that I get from my friends from time to time, I always felt like I was the odd one out because I never had a very clear passion. I loved my sciences and arts equally. I loved exploring new things. And I got really anxious when I was 17 and 18 because that was when you were supposed to kind of like decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. And I found that really intimidating because I never felt like there was one true calling for me because I simply loved exploring so many things. I struggled to find my passion because even though I know what I love, I didn't want to just do one thing for the rest of my life. And the pressure became worse when it seems like all my friends around me seem to know very certainly what they wanted to do for their future. You know, from doctors to engineers and dentists, you name it. They seem to had it all figured out, and I felt like I was left behind. So as you can imagine, I was really anxious and stressed because I didn't understand why I was different from my friends. I couldn't just stick to one passion and move on with life. I thought there was something wrong with me for loving so many things and couldn't figure out what is my one true passion. And that was until I came across this term, multi-potentialite. It is someone with multiple interests and creative pursuits. So think like Leonardo da Vinci. And I came across this term when I was watching Emily Wapnick's TED Talk. You can search it up, it's on YouTube. I found it really relatable to what I was feeling at that time, what I'm still feeling right now. And so once I started exploring more of this, I realized, hey, there is nothing wrong with me. There are people like me in this world. And because of our curiosity, we are open to trying new things. We learn things faster because we're used to being beginners. Due to our wide interests, we are also able to transfer skills across different fields, even though sometimes it doesn't really feel like it's related. And I started embracing this as my newfound strength and continued exploring new things that excite me. And over time, I have added filming, cooking, sculpting, woodworking, etc. to my list of never-ending pursuits. And as I've continued to explore my interests and who I am, trying out new things all the time, I found myself in an organization fighting for education inequality in Malaysia. It's called Small Changes. I was a facilitator with them twice and worked in HR for a year. I found myself a worthy issue to fight for because through this eye-opening experience, it has made me passionate in this issue because I realize how privileged I am to receive the education that I am receiving. I've also found my way into WAGS, the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, working on improving the livelihood of girls and young women. Here I am mainly involved in the Commission on the Status of Women with the UN, where we prepare our statements and lobby to respective governments to influence the outcome of the zero draft, ultimately and hopefully for an agreed conclusion between countries and governments. And I was also involved in the curated discussions organized by Generation Equality Forum as a panelist to talk about intergenerational activism. In the national level, I am involved with the Girl Guides Association Malaysia. We campaign for ending child marriage, and I've also found that very personal to me because I've realized how privileged I am to be born in a family that didn't sell me off or married me off when I was 11, 12, or 13. So, and that was where I started my journey in a lot of youth activism. So I think besides being curious and exploring a lot of different aspects of myself, what I'm interested at the core of myself, I think the belief is that I would choose doing the right thing rather than doing things right. While I'm still trying to learn, grasp this core value, I try to practice this as much as I can. As such, I identify with Elizabeth Sloan from the movie Miss Sloan 2016. She's a lobbyist. She fought to pass a gun control legislation. She was approached by the opposing party, who enlisted her as an ally in getting women and mothers to support gun freedom. She could have said yes in return for a lot of money, but she didn't. There is also Katniss Everdeen, one of the main characters from the popular book turned movie series, The Hunger Games. Katniss Everdeen never wanted to fight in the battles. She wanted to run away with her mother, her sister, and her lover. But when she saw how the rebels were fighting against the oppression from the capital, she realized that she had to be part of this fight because it is her home. And I see myself in these two women, and I hope to see myself continue fighting the good fight in Bilberries School. That is all from me. Thank you for listening.
Wow, thank you very much. That is awesome. That is very, very inspirational.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that. So what I can sense from this is that maybe some of us may feel inferior or may even feel intimidated by comparison to what we have heard from Han Ejin. So this is not a competition. This is what I said at the beginning. This is not a profiling of achievements. Even if sometimes we can't help it, we want to show that we have achieved this. But what is important in our identity is that if we have the opportunities and possibilities of fulfillment, we should go for it. Because what is important for a human being is to fulfill. We are all gifted in one way or another. We have different capacities, we have different abilities, we have different points of view, but there is one thing in common, that we all desire for fulfillment. Because we are born with potentials. But if we don't self-discover what these potentials are, and what is going to happen is we will undernourish our identity. Our identity will miss its fulfillment. So that is what Ejin has discovered. So she has scaled the heights in exploring what she can do. And she summarized it, do the right thing. So for those of us who have yet to self-discover, no big deal. We have this journey for 18 months, and as we go along, maybe we can amend, we can reconstruct, and we can liberate ourselves even from thinking that we are not identified or we are not self-fulfilled. If we are in the space that we have, this is a safe space, And it is a life space. It's not for these 18 months only, but we will continue to self-discover ourselves as long as we live. So it's a question of thinking, what is it that I have that I haven't explored? And that is going to open many, as we said, places and possibilities. Thank you, Ejin, for sharing, which is very inspirational and admirable that, again, for the others who do not have the same profile, no worries. We are who we are.
Bernie, should we invite some responses, some comments?
Yeah, I think
on Ejin's
I think they're still processing their thoughts.
Okay. So we won't do it. We will just
no. You're free to share, because this is all a question of we also process our perceptions. Maybe we're not ready at this moment. Maybe the insight has not come out, but maybe it will. But feel very comfortable. Speak as you wish. No. Marivic?
Is it okay if I say something?
Okay,
yeah.
Most welcome.
First of all,
Morgan from UK, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello. Ejin, thank you so much for sharing about yourself. I was really surprised because you prepared 17 slides and I prepared none. Yeah, that's very interesting about yourself, about your curiosity in everything. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. It was a lot of deep thinking when I cannot sleep.
Yes. Yeah, it's a part of our inner discovery, you know. That's why sometimes I always think that, yeah, people don't speak not because they are shy, but people speak because they feel more comfortable in their inner reflections. And sometimes they don't want to break the boundaries of these reflections by putting out in the open. That's fine. That's the way we are. Yeah. But sometimes it could be misjudged as we are shy, or we are introvert, we are weird, we are a nerd. All this don't matter. It's not important for us. That we are happy the way we are. Yeah.
So this session is also about, because this session is the identity session, right, Bernie? The next one we will move to the dignity already, right? Or is this the preparation for the identity? No, this is the identity session.
This is identity, yes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't identify who you are, so what's next?
So are we allowed to move on? No, or we have to stay here until?
It's personal. If you feel, and if your reflection says that I am happy with the way I am, and I have explored this, then we can move on to the next chapter of dignity. That is entirely up to us. We may say, that's why I say, it could be part of our inner reflection, but be truthful to yourself, be authentic. And the external environment, although we're they call it VUCA, V, volatile, U, uncertain, C, complexity, and A is ambiguity. They say we are in a VUCA world. But for us, we cannot control the V, which is volatile, because we are where we are. Uncertain, maybe to a certain extent, it's not too certain. Complex, indeed, is very complex. But ambiguity is something we can identify. we should not be ambiguous about ourselves, because there must be something wrong if we don't even honor who we are. No, we can, I think we can discard the A. It's my own reflection that we cannot be ambiguous about ourselves. And that is where we can move on. If we are happy, we can share, or if we respect boundaries, our own personal boundaries, it's also okay. But maybe somewhere along the line, maybe in the 4th month or the 5th month, you can come out and say, hey, I discovered this is who I am. That's fine. No, we need not pressure ourselves to discover ourselves now, but we continue to explore. This is just a joke about the 3 animals. The pig, let me try to remember it. The pig, the cow, and the chicken. The chicken and the pig were discussing. You see, he said, I can lay eggs, I can give eggs. So I'm happy I can still survive. And then the pig said, that's not fair, because when I give ham, I'm dead. I am finished. I cannot produce ham unless I'm dead. And then they went to the cow. Then the cow said, oh, see, the chicken can give eggs, and then the pig can produce a ham. And then the cow said, I continue to give milk, but when I continue to give milk, I'm still giving while I'm alive. So he said, this is exactly what is going to happen, that we continue to give while we're still alive. Because what's the point? No? When we have given everything, but only at death, we're going to give many things. It's like people who have amassed wealth all their lives, but at the end of the day, they keep it to themselves. And then they only give what they have when they're already gone. So this is quite, it's a joke, but it has a story behind it, that whilst we are here, we can give while still we are living. So, and this is also related to your capacity to be identified with your identity, because we said towards maybe the 7th session, where solidarity and community, thinking of others will come in, but that is jumping the gun. At this moment, we are only in the space of maybe self-discovery, and we have discovered ourselves as Ejin has done. You can share it with us, or if you think it is crossing boundaries of our personal intimacy, that's also, it's important for us to accept who we are, firstly for ourselves, basically and essentially and necessarily for ourselves. Yeah.
So that's the being unambiguous, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, that's...
How is that again?
Sorry, I just have to take the door. I like that groundedness, Bernie, the A of the VUCA, you know. You're right. It's not ambiguous. There's no way you can be ambiguous about who you are. If you are, you're in trouble. You're going to fuck the whole world. And I'm actually even at, I think the world is complex anyway, so we're not in a VUCA world. It is. Yeah? Life is complex. We have the notion that we have got it under control, but it's just like this. So again, I also tossed that out. Okay, what's the other one? Uncertain. If you're not ambiguous, you have more degree of certainty about your lives, because you have control over your lives. You can decide whether you go out, how you create your social mobility right now. I mean, what you do in the time when you're alone, what you do in the time when you're socially, what you do in the time. I mean, there are definitely uncertainties, but in the pandemic world, much of the uncertainties, it's very science driven and social and political. So you just have to map it, right? I do BCP and risk portfolio as well as CFOs, right? So that's what we do. You can't manage it. Sometimes you tolerate, but you are responding to uncertainty, right? You cannot be helpless in it. And Bernie is right, spot on, that it is linked to an unambiguous self. You have to have clarity. You have to have groundedness about that, right? Otherwise, everything else is, you're constantly fighting something that you don't even know because you haven't clarified who you are, right? Or not about who you are. What is your definition? Have you defined? Yeah. Volatile means what? Volatile means, what is volatile again?
Volatile, yes.
Volatile means
up and down.
Up and down. Life is up and down, right?
Yeah, today is this, tomorrow is no. Today is this, tomorrow is no. Yeah.
Why does that happen?
Because we don't have any confidence in ourselves.
So you haven't...
Our identity is unsure of ourselves.
So is the world an expression of our inner identity crisis of humanity? You see, this is our dialogue. Okay, this is how we work under Bilberries Blue. They'll come out with things. I'm like, why?
No, it's not fair for me to answer because this is supposed to be not a lecture. This is supposed to be deep thinking, no? So maybe some of you can answer being inquiries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm confused. I don't, because I see nature and the world is as is, and then we're in it, right? And then we have we are inside society. So I'm a bit confused why people write that we are now in a VUCA world. It is. But then how come some people can ground themselves and get their lives together and then some people can't? That's really the real question, right? And how do you get from that place where you're in a constant flux and torture actually, right? Whether you're alone or in a family or a situation or community situation, how do you get there to a place of stability? Human beings need stability. Babies need stability to flourish. Children need stability to flourish. Youth need stability to flourish. Old folks like me. Okay, Bernie is evergreen.
No, we are thinking from our worldview. We are thinking because of the way we were brought up. We are thinking because the world was very stable. But we are entering a space where nobody else has experienced it so far until a few months ago. So,
no, Bernie, I challenge that. We have not been in a stable world. There has been wars everywhere, right? We're post-war children.
We can hear from some of them. Because we are reflecting as adults, but these youth have to see it from their pair of eyes, from their mindset. I don't know what they are thinking at this moment.
Yeah. Please voice out. Just join our conversation. This is how we talk, you know. There's no right or wrong. just think out loud. It's fine.
Yes. Nika, you have something to share with us? No?
It's okay still, Bernie, because this is the first month of our kind of semi-dialogic, right? But I think it's great. I think we've covered quite a lot of good stuff. I mean, actually, Bernie and I constantly surprise ourselves. If Saif is here, we'll have a different dynamics.
Yeah.
So
No,
It's
because we attended a micro summit session, remember, 2 years ago or a year ago. The speaker was someone who
Nora
has,
Bateson. Yeah.
yeah, Nora Bateson. She advocated instead of linear thinking, because she said we always think in a straight line. She said we have to think contextually, transcontextual.
Wow.
She
Thanks.
shared her experience, the way she shared it, because she comes from a different background, and because her father was also a psychologist. She said when she was growing up, she was never told what to do. Quite strange, right? Very few take that risk, that you don't tell the children what to do. It's a high risk because the child will totally surprise you with what they're going to do, how to behave. But she said that the way she was brought up is every day her father will say, Nora, what did you learn today? Because the father was a pedagogue, he was a teacher, so he was not telling her it is right or it is wrong. He said, and then he would say, today I learned this. And then he will ask her, what have you learned today? So probably for us, the definition of VOCA will be from our point of view, from a coach point of view, but for you, maybe it is totally a different perspective, and that is very curious. Now, talking of curiosity, I'm also curious how you would describe the present situation. This word VUCA, I think, has been advocated since 1987. But only today it's found relevant because of the way things are. So it's quite curious for me to see or to hear what your point of view or what is your reflection of the situation today. Is it really uncertain? Is it really, I don't know.
Bernie, sorry, I just interrupt on the timekeeping. We're 15 minutes before. We will end at 4 sharply today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can ask the questions, but I would like to save us some time to introduce our friend Montana, who has just joined us.
All right.
But maybe we introduce first.
We leave it as an open-ended consideration.
Okay.
Yeah. So give us time to think. Maybe in our next session, we spend the first 15 minutes trying to share perceptions on what we think this VUCA means for us, which means I explained it again. It's not an acronym that I invented. It is something that is very used in coaching sessions. They call it, we are in a VUCA world. Yeah, maybe you can agree or disagree. In the next session, we can share our reflections. Okay? Yeah.
Bernie, also the next session, are we still working on identity or are we moving on to dignity?
Move on to dignity. As far as
So we keep moving, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we are happy with our self-discovery, then we can go to the next phase of dignity. Yeah.
Okay. Because it doesn't make sense to like just hold on and then
no.
You have to kind of go. Right. It's like a constellation, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So it's dignity for next session. You can have a read at the slide, and then you can prepare a response. And then another piece is specifically on VUCA. Yeah. So we keep it as that. So we So, and I see a sharing. Yeah. Okay. Now we would like to introduce Montana. Montana, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Welcome. Sorry, I had noticed that you had come in, but because everybody was in the flow, I didn't want to interrupt the session. Oh, have you dropped off? You are there. Thank you. Is that Frankie with you?
No, this is my friend. She's called Sabi.
Sabi, hello.
Hello. on identity, and I guess it also gave me a few insights, things to think about. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody, this is Miss Montana. How do you say your last name, Montana?
Jaga.
Jaga.
Jaga. So the N is silent.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Miss Montana Jaga, who is a deputy principal of Kimlia Training Center, right? Is that did I get the name right?
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. It is you're based in Kenya. Is it Nairobi that you're calling from right now?
Yes.
Isn't it exciting, guys? so this is a cohort 1 youth stewards, Montana. So and we have represent our youth stewards from Malaysia, all across all over Malaysia. Anyone, yeah, and one of the Malaysian youth stewards are actually based in the UK in London, and then we have the youth stewards from Philippines in Dangkalan.
Okay.
Dangkalan is a town. Is that how you identify Dangkalan? Is it a
It's
city
a town.
or a town?
It's a town.
It's a town. Yeah, it's a Dangkalan town. Which the youth stewards have shared about themselves on the YouTube videos. So
Yeah, I watched
we have also invited Montana's team. Montana is we're trying not to use the word mentor anymore. Montana is supporting the youth stewards in of the Kimlia Training Center this week in February, this month in February, to prepare for the kickstarting of the cohort number 2 in March. And the youth stewards of Kimlia, we call it Kimlia for short, have actually prepared the videos yesterday. They've sent it to me. Montana, I apologize, I haven't had a chance to look at it this morning, but I am going to actually pull it together and then put it on the YouTube, if that's okay.
That's okay.
Because that's what we did with the Dangkalan team as well, and everyone, and the Temasek Junior College has done that. Malaysia team, we are still awaiting your lovely videos. Malaysia youth stewards. So maybe you could have that going as well. Just a short one, you know, just a quick introduction so that everybody knows everybody. So then now, so we're 10 minutes into it. Montana, would you be able to explain, help us share with us Kimlia Girls, Kimlia Training Center? Introduce to us, and then maybe a little bit of where you're based. You're based in Nairobi or outside of Nairobi?
We're based in the outskirts of Nairobi. So it's called Tigoni. The area is called Tigoni.
Tigoni.
T with a T. Tigoni. Tigoni.
Okay. Maybe you can give.
Hear me.
Okay. Maybe you can just share with us, you know, feel free. Is everybody okay if we overrun a little bit? Because I think maybe it's a good time Montana shares with us deeply about the area, and also Kimlia Training Center as well, so that everyone has a context by the time we see the video.
Yeah. So, okay, so Tigoni, Kimlia is a school that was started in 1992. When we started, we did many things all together. We did agriculture, we did dressmaking, even animal. We used to also do a bit of animal rearing and all that. But then the program changed in 2004, and we focused primarily on hospitality management. So the aim of the school was to provide education to students who come from poor backgrounds, specifically those from the tea plantation workers, because we are smack in the middle of huge, beautiful tea plantations. And I hope one of these days I'll share a picture and share. It's very beautiful, but also the stories of the people who work there are not so good. They're quite tragic because they don't have access to very many things. So anyway, Kimla started as a school to educate some of these the children from these homes, and even the women, because we focus on education of women, and that way they can have a positive impact in society. So that's a little bit about the school. So most of our students want to study to become, they're studying to become
I think a line has dropped off. You'll just wait a little while.
Yeah, I think they also have a very nice website. If we want to know more about the school, we can just Google and then we can read about their website. I think it's very informative.
Okay. We'll just wait for Montana to come back on. I'm sure she will. But are you excited? Huh?
You have participants from the other parts of the world.
Yeah, it's getting so fun, right? Yeah. So that's why it's so important that you document sufficiently to contextualize where you are, who you are, what work you want to do, or even some ideas, even if it's not work that you're able to do, so maybe other people will get excited, and then maybe they want to join the work and get inspired, or we also foster some kind of just sharing, right? Sharing is nice, isn't it? When you start sharing, you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very bonding.
Yeah. Well, we have to tell you that every time we see you, we're actually very happy. We can't explain the joy, but the joy is there. Well, I hope it's the same. We're just assuming it's the same. We're always very imposing. But for me and Bernie, I think I speak fairly for Bernie too, that we feel this deep sense of joy. Yeah, Yi Xian, just go ahead and speak.
Yeah, actually, I want to jump in after Ejin's presentation because I also prepared my slides about self-identity. But I don't feel I feel it's like impolite to interrupt the sessions about VUCA just now, as well as Montana's sharing. So I was going to just send an email. But since Montana is having like an internet issues, maybe I will just jump in a little while.
If everyone is okay to extend the time. Yeah.
Yes.
If everyone's okay, then go. Don't feel inhibited. Go all the way. Take all the time you need.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's so rare that we get together, and it's so difficult to get so many people together, right? Yeah.
Can you see my slide?
Yes.
All right. Let me put it on full screen. Okay, so it's not more about like self-identity because I relate more it to like SDGs goal. So yeah, so first I'll talk about myself and what SDG which I can relate to, and some of the projects which I guess could be related to the SDG which I am interested in. So about me, 22 years old, a final year psychology student, but I kind of relate to Ejin just now when she said that before this, she stated that she has a lot of passion in a lot of fields. And I also faced that kind of issues during my secondary school time because I was so into like studying and getting good results for SPM. I never really like realized what I am interested in. And I get really like in dilemma during that time, like not sure what my future will hold. And then I think of something like why should I stress out myself when I am just 17 years old? I should just go with the flow and enjoy my youth and sorry, my friends, and not getting unsure about my future. And psychology is one of the field which is being influenced by my classmate, in which I feel like it's a field that I can help out the others, and then that is when I feel like yeah, I just go with the flow and study psychology. And this is when during university I try to join a lot of things that I am interested in, such as currently a World Married Malaysia, in which I'm the treasurer, so that it can be related to my cause right now, and I can help out the others, in which it can be related to aspiration again. Like my peers and I kind of have like an aspiration to establish a one-stop psychology center in order to assist those who are in need. And this is when SDGs come in, like the SDG which I can relate to. The first one is no poverty. Poverty means that not having enough materials and income for a person's basic needs. And this problem exists in like not just urban, also rural areas in Malaysia. So we can help by donating them basic living needs so that they can slowly come out from poverty. And the third one would be good health and well-being. So when it comes to good health, well-being, I guess most individuals would think that it was just about physical health, but it also comes to emotional well-being of individuals, especially during this current pandemic situation. And the target audience that I would like to emphasize is children. So first project will be, it will call me really beautiful because it's more towards children, and it related to first SDG just now, in which we can place a wishing tree. I'm not sure if Bilberries have it on like a building or maybe an office. So we can place a wishing tree on the ground floor of the building, and kids get a chance to like write down their wishes and what they wish they have, and leaving down their contact details and place them on a wishing tree. So if those who are interested in donating the necessity items, they can come to us and to approach us directly. Because the problem is underprivileged children, like they deserve a chance to receive desired gift to brighten up their day. So this is when I feel like for the sake of their education and their normal day living, this is kind of important. And it's one of the interesting initiatives which have been happening in Malaysia under BB Box. And then project 2 will be like my art, my voice, and it's related to third SDG, the good health and well-being. And my art and my voice, because we do talk about art in the beginning of the session. So I feel like this is another project which maybe we can do together. It's like a small exhibition gallery. It could be physical, it also can be virtual, like published on social media alongside with caption to showcase the kids' artworks and poem, and to able to have a platform for them to voice up their opinions and also their stress, their anything during this pandemic era. Because aside from adult, I understand that children will also feel stressed out or emotionally neglected during this pandemic era. So it's important to have a platform for them to voice up their opinions. And these are some of the examples of events which are kind of similar to the program which have been introduced just now by UNICEF Thailand and Toyota Dream and UNISO and BB Love Box. BB Love Box specifically for the first program about the wishing tree, and the other tree is so more towards the my art, my voice. And yeah, it's just a short slide presentation. So alone we can do a little, together we can do so much. So I hope that in which when we discover our self-identity, we can relate to the togetherness, because Bilberries is not just about ourselves. So when we discover our own self-identity, we can relate to all of us together. We can do something to relate with our own situation, but also relate to all of us at the same time for the sake of Bilberries project. Yeah, basically that's all.
Oh, that's great.
Sorry in the beginning because my parents was coming just now, so I was kind of like have to talk to them a little while.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. This is great.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
As if Saif were here, he will say fabulous.
Yeah, we can predict side now.
This is his favorite. He is fabulous.
Yeah, it is indeed. It is indeed.
Yeah. So again, I come back to the micro summit that we had 2 years ago. The speaker was saying, we always emphasize leadership, leadership. But actually, he says when there's a leader, there is a follower. But in this, there is no leader and there is no follower. But she said, why not use the word? She coined the word. She said, togethership. Instead of leadership, we say togethership, which means we are all together in this. And that's why Yi Xian was saying very rightfully that together we can do so much. So maybe in another context, instead of saying leadership, although this is also the aim is to make us leaders, we can also side by side say to ourselves, we are here as togethership.
I love that. Wow. It's really powerful. I'm being very moved by today's session. Because I actually...
That's why everything is surprise, no? Life is full of
are giving us so much fuel, you know, and nourishment.
Yeah, wait till we hear from
everybody. This is
the other
so rich. I'm just trying to figure out how I organize it. Maybe I should stop already. We should just start passing some pieces to everybody, because Yi Xian had asked whether Bilberries Blue has this or that. Bilberries Blue has organizations. We have One Love Limited, which is a not-for-profit. And we have actually have run, we call it accompaniment. So we're quite respectful. We don't actually say poor. In US, when I learned it, we call it underserved children, actually. But I've actually moved away from all that. This is a lot of baggage and labeling. So the organization is called One Love. So it's quite interesting that you have BB Love. It's actually BB Love box. It's quite funny, because we were sending out boxes because we were focused on what is the smallest thing that we could do to have the highest impact. So we were then looking at schools. There was Bhutan. We still haven't finished. I think we sent 4 schools, and they have about 20 central schools. So very little things we send, we can make a very big impact. So it's very nice, Yi Xian, like the baby love and all that. Maybe we can weave it, and you can use Bilberries One Love Limited. It's under Bilberries Blue. We co-founded it. So that's how I said, how empowering is this? You want whatever one you want to do, you just take it, tell me, we write it up. There we go. You can learn the legality. You don't have to wait. You don't have to get a job. It is a job. You know, we have our HR. We can write whatever.
No, you have also charcoal for the art.
We have another organization, Charcoal Private Limited. It was set up in 2009, 8. Yeah, we used to have a gift shop, art school, you know, etc. So actually, Vincent and I have been talking. I was supposed to work with him every Thursday. Then there was Chinese New Year, and then there was today I had a little work crisis I have to resolve. So, but we are working very hard on the art front. So anybody very interested in that, you know, just let us know. And this My Art, My Voice, I think is reflects something very important, because you're probably closer to the children. You're right. They do need to express it. We used to run a lot of exhibitions. So so we have that organization. It's properly ring-fenced as a Charcoal Private Limited. One Love Limited is a company limited by guarantee, and there is an object clause and a mandate for it. And you can do international work. Charcoal, there's nothing stopping it as well from doing international work. So and that has been, our own internal corporate governance is seen like a social enterprise. Yeah, but we've basically reformulated everything as a sustainable enterprise according to our definition, which is under the TUBE model, the Economics of Universal Wellbeing Framework. So that's how it works. So these are the opportunities that we're putting on the table. Anything that in our togethership, if as more of you stewards come on board and you all have ideas and whatever, and you want to start formulating it, okay, into little projects, you just let us know, and we can pull off another team to start working on the work stream. Because that's what Bilberries Blue Sustainable Entrepreneurism is. It doesn't mean that you have to be of certain age or what. As long as there's somebody there who says, I'm going to commit to this, and then we're very good at project scoping and project definition, right? So we can track. So I have 30 channels on this phone right now. I have multiple projects that we run, and it's because it's the people who are scoping the project themselves and driving it. That's why it can be done. So that's my learning lesson from being an entrepreneur. You cannot go top down, right? It has to be driven, and then when we do it, we scope it like a production, Bunny. So all of Chaco's projects, we had scope it like a production, start to finish, and it's wonderful because you get to work as collaboratively as a team, and it's very, very clear what everybody's roles and responsibilities and what are the deliverables. Some of the deliverables are financial, some you would have to have both actually. So I find it very funny when people split the two, you would have to have both. And you have to have very, very clear what your matrix is. And you have to define it, because then you have to have the accountability of it. It's no matter what you do, you're taking money from people, you're taking time from people, you're taking materials from the earth as well. Yeah, no matter what. So if you, and it's very good, Bernie, when you talk about there's no ambiguity, because there's no ambiguity. You have ambiguity, you're lost. By definition, if you have ambiguity, you're lost. I don't know. I maybe some other people will say you can't say that, right? Yeah, you can have wonder. You can leave room for huge openness, possibilities. But you cannot be ambiguous in your day, or you can almost say, okay, today I'm dedicating today, which is 24 hours, to do nothing. To just look at the sky. I mean, you can. To not even think about framing or anything, you can, but actually you have made the decision to do that too, So this is how clear you must be about actually how you're living your life, right?
Actually, when we say VOCA, we can demolish their definition, because we can design our own thinking. Instead of saying volatile, we can put solid instead of volatile, and then uncertain, we can say sure. So maybe for us, it's a challenge to look for the meaning behind VUCA, and to divert it from something negative, because VOCA is very negative, into something that is very empowering and very positive. And then from there, we can change the world, because the perception today is VOCA, VOCA, VOCA. Why not all of us think together, instead of a VUCA, meaning what it means, think of a word that represents a positive meaning for V, a positive meaning for U, a positive meaning for C. And then this can also be our brand for Bilberries. Besides the rose, we can have our own brand of VOCA. How about that? It could be something to think about. The youth of today have turned the word VOCA into something this.
We turn it, right?
Turn it around,
We turn it around, Empower it.
Empower those letters.
It's like, pew, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like going down, then you just V in.
Yeah.
Because everybody's saying like, okay lah, turn, boom, go already. Okay? Like this. I don't know how, but that's essentially what it is, right?
So even today, right now, I see the word V as something vertical, go deep. Instead of thinking superficially, like we are only on the surface, when we self-explore ourselves, when we think deeper, we are thinking this way or this way. So V is vertical thinking, which means thinking with depth.
But if you're not even letting this go for one more month, V, vertical. U means what?
Anyway,
uncertain.
Share something.
The complete, use the same name VUCA, but then we put all our rainbows around it, you know,
yes,
a different meaning. You know?
I think that will be very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, then we like shout it back out like, hello, hello.
And then we can throw it to all those people out there who are explaining how to, and the way the message is to survive, to thrive, which is all negative. We say how to flourish.
Live. Yeah, flourish. That's right.
Yeah, how to flourish in this VUCA world with a new definition of VUCA. That will be our next maybe sharing. Come out with a very interesting definition of VUCA in an empowering way. Right?
Yeah, so the homework has changed slightly. No, but how to cope with VUCA, we are like going to redefine, okay?
Yes. Redefine the world. Yeah.
Redefine it into positive.
Yeah, into empowerment.
Empowerment. And remember, empowerment, you have to be able to do it, okay? Empowerment is
we can put that into the YouTube.
Yeah.
And then all those mentors out there will see how the youth have redefined the world. That's quite interesting. Yeah? Let's see what we can come up with. We have a month to think about it. For our next
and actually that's dignity, because Bilberries Blue is about dignity, right?
Yes, you can tie it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With dignity.
Yeah. All right.
So lie that we say that we don't give homework, because we actually do. Don't believe old folks, you know. sorry, I'm speaking for myself. Benny is not defined that way. Okay, you're gonna scold me now. Okay. What else? So I don't know if Montana has dropped off, but maybe she has. But we will have a chance to meet with her. But we will wait for Bernie to join us again before we close off. Anybody has any other thoughts? Janelle, yeah.
Hey, good afternoon to all. I've just thought of something, words that I can relate, that I can replace with the VUCA. Just simple words. So we needs values in order to succeed and to what can I say? We all need values. That's the most important thing. Humans, we need values to interact with other people. Solemnly. So for the next letter is you, understanding, and we understand each other. We need to understand the economy. We need to understand what's happening around. We need to understand people behind us, and so that we can connect with them. We need to understand, and we can have peace. And for the C, we have to be courageous in all the things we do. Teams, be courageous. And then for the A, we must have aims, goals or aims. So each of us human beings have our own aims in life, and it is most probably to be successful in life. My what did I say? Yeah, so that's what's VUCA for me. Values, understanding, courageous, and having aims in life.
Hey, did I miss anything?
To be successful.
You miss amazingness. Oh, I think
what did I miss?
Oh, you missed our. I mean, we got it already, I think, I don't know what the others think, but
So what is it?
Now you have to share again with Bernie.
Who?
Okay, I'll rewind what I have said. I've thought of words for VUCA.
Okay.
V for values.
Okay.
For values. U for understanding. C for being courageous, and A for having aims in life.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Just quite simple words.
Wow, we're going to transform the world. My goodness.
Yeah.
No one has thought of this,
Thank you.
you know? Wow.
Oh.
Do we agree to this, or some people will have other definitions? I think this is very, very inspiring. Huh?
My hair was standing, my goosebumps were standing all the way. It's correct, it's spot on. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing, amazing. Mm.
Yeah, because, you know, this is it. Because I was just having this massive stuff, right? And I really thought, my goodness, I just got it all wrong about stewardship and leadership. Even it's, you know, we everybody has the know-how. We all have all this stuff, right? But really, if you see those people who are doing it right and those people who are missing it, right? It's values. Values defines leadership or stewardship.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so right on there, the solidity is there, right?
Yes.
Live that, doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Doing togethership. You can still roll all these things there, right?
Yes.
I mean, you can deepen what is values as well, right?
Yes.
And I love the understanding piece. It's not knowledge, right?
Yeah, it's not knowledge.
Understanding. It's
not knowledge.
I understand what you're going through. You know, it's that word itself is much more powerful than even empathy or knowledge or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's at the most intimate part of a person. When you reach the intimacy, you will have the understanding. No intimacy, no understanding. So when you have reached understanding, that means you have broken the boundary.
That is so profound, Janelle, and it's because it's coming from your core. Yeah, it is so incredible. Seriously.
Are you recording this?
Yes, it is. I didn't stop it into many takes because I want this to be all seen in one go, because this is a very, very precious and very powerful.
This is a precious session.
Yeah. And I want to tell you about courageous, because once you have values, you have to have moral courage. And I was rereading all those moral courage statements, right? Especially, you know, I don't want to name names, but you can go Google and find it. But that word suddenly popped at me, you know, when you're in an emergency as a leader, and everybody is saying, this needs to be done, and you know, and if you don't know what is the core, you're lost, because you won't know how to sequence, okay, the emergency priorities right in the fire, okay? Yeah, and then you're having every kind of pressure, right? Money, people, whatever, politics, even in small teams, right? The call that you make is moral courage. If you have moral courage, you have moral authority over everybody. It's not really about authority, but moral. I learned it this week, okay? Moral courage. And it's quite scary, actually. But if you practice it enough and you live it enough, you will put your foot down and you will stand, and nobody can budge you. And I think Janelle knows that, right? That's why you say you gotta be courageous. Yeah, and it's quite scary, isn't it, being courageous? Especially moral courage. And Janelle, you can turn on your audio and just chat. Yeah? Just have a chat. Yeah, just have a chat with us, you know? And then, I love it, the aims. The aims in life. You say aims in life, not just aims, no abstract aims. I look at the LinkedIn, best looking LinkedIn profile. What is that for? What Bernie is saying, what is that for? My CV, what is that for? No, nothing. Aims in life, right? Life with a big L, you know, your livingness, right? The cow that gives the milk. Aims in life, and it's incredible that your identity formation, right, that you have driven it yourself, you know, that Ejin and Yi Xian have shared, was coming to that, right? We didn't tell you that, you know, but it's coming from that, and that's the type of authentic, right, development and maturization that you're actually formulating for yourself and your own internal system and coherence of navigating that. You see, I use these words because it's going to keep changing. Maybe today it's going to be like that. Even the structure that you use to navigate your formulation of your identity, you have to be willing to ditch that. I don't know, hopefully not as for your generation, I don't know. It's going to be very fast, very fast. But I'm not so sure. I think that core structure maybe can last you for a few more years. So if you build a very deep core structure, you don't have to dissolve the structures so much. But if you have a very deep structure that is classic, it can last you one whole lifetime. And then might as well do it. It's easier.
That's why what comes to my mind now when you say formulation of your identity, maybe a 5-year-old has no identity. By 10 years old, her identity is my declaration of independence.
That's right. That's right. It's your own declaration of independence. You have to be able to formulate it. And the process that you're formulating it, the process that you're refining it, and your process that you are actually doing the reality versus your fantasy versus your dreams versus what's realistic. You know, it's really navigating that. It's fun.
And that's why we step into, we're so accustomed to the use of the word virtual. But actually there is a gap between the virtual and the reality. And we are trying to bridge that gap. Because if you always live in a virtual world, we'll never be authentic. Because everything for us will be virtual. And that's something to overcome in this VUCA environment. To be real, authentic, not virtual.
But Bernie, we have redefined us already, you know.
Yeah, we did
we have our VUCA world is a positive world, so we don't talk about that. That's in the past. We dissolved that already.
We don't have to talk again next month to think about it. We have defined it.
We have finished our homework. Next week, you got next month you got a different one.
Thank you for Janelle for this clarity.
Yeah. So all our recording are recorded, so we don't have to specially go and redo the different pieces. You know, later on, if you want to go into the recording, we can take bits out and turn them into shorter videos or maybe documentaries that we can present to the world, find good forums that are respectful.
We can do the editing.
That's right. Yeah. So we're not rushed to try and keep showing that we have results or we have success story. You know what I say to people when I say, what are you doing with the youth? I'm like, yeah, it's all on Bilberries YouTube. Just if you're interested enough, you will sit through the 2 hours. And I can tell you there are adults that are sitting through our sessions, as raw as it is, compared to all those glossy sessions that people have done and the post-production. I am so stubborn that I say I refuse to do post-production anymore. It is what it is. This is as real as the virtual can be for reality in the pandemic world. If we keep editing it, we're not going to know who we really are anymore. And that's why the stubbornness sticks, right? The stubbornness now, I'm going to call it moral courage. Thank you, Junelle. I'm going to call it our new VUCA, our BB VUCA. Our new, I don't know. So you all can jazz it up or whatever. But So yeah, Bernie, we got it, Wow.
Yeah. I
Yi
think
Xian,
we can catch a photo
Ejin,
session now.
what do you think? Justin, what do you think? You're smiling and glowing away. No, not yet.
Time for photos.
Oh, see? Now we're talking. Okay, Nika, Angelica, Sharon, photo.
Yeah, put your videos on.
Yeah.
Angelica, Nika, Sharon.
Forgot to take a photo with Montana, see?
Where's Montana?
Yeah, and I made special effort because today is Happy Human Day in the Chinese.
Happy birthday to the whole humankind today.
Yes. Through VUCA, through this one.
New VUCA. New V.
New V! Put
all
on
your
your
V's.
V's!
Put all your V's. The
Oh my
VOCA, the new VOCA world.
And you know, last year we wrote a paper called the V Rebound. And it's today. Happy birthday, humanity. And it's so simple. Values, understanding, courage, aims in life. Okay. This one anybody can understand.
Yes.
You know, you don't need to have all this empathy. What's that? Oh, I have to Google, I have to spell that. You know. Is there a H or a Y? By the time you say empathy, you don't understand already. This
but understanding is very, very, very clear.
Wow, so we're ready, huh?
So thank you very much for your presence today, which makes it one of the most powerful sessions of this youth stewardship today. And thank you for Ejin for sharing, and for Yi Xian for sharing too. Yes, I hope we can upload your presentations of identity too, because they're so rich. Yeah.
And Janelle's VOCA. We got it. Everybody's in, right?
Yes.
Yeah? Agree? Yep.
Yes.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay,
Take care for another
take
month. See
care
you
for
in another
next
month's
month.
time.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
Bye. See you next month.
See you next month. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So what say you?